welcome to another episode of B Sharp and C, the podcast sub-series about the indie, the up-and-coming, and the underrated. You know, it's interesting, usually when I do one of these podcasts, and I've only done 2 sub-series so far, I will find someone who's really obscure, that almost no one has heard of, and that's not what I'm doing today. Today, I think we need to be sharp and see what Saraceno has been up to. Now, most of us actually might not know who he is. I really don't know. I dare say that the majority of music lovers don't know who Saraceno is, but he's not an obscure name. He is known. He has had success in the past. He has worked with people like Michael Bolton, Cher. He was known as the guy who replaced Eric Clapton in Cream, he had a lot of success, but it's interesting because if you were to Google his name or go to YouTube and look for some older concerts, he's not flooding YouTube. He's not everywhere out there. The bits and bytes are, bidding and biting other artists. He's kind of obscure in a sense, especially when you consider how much success he's had since he was a teenager. I believe he was invited by Michael Bolton to play on Cher's album when he was just a teenager. And he's worked with Peter Cetera and other people too while he was young. And, I find it actually quite amazing and surprising at the same time, because I was introduced to Saraceno by accident. I just kind of came across his music just somehow. I don't even remember how I did it, but I'm always looking for indie artists. So if I find someone who's maybe a little obscure or underrated, who I find Saraceno to be underrated, but not as a guitar player, as a songwriter, as a producer and mixer, right? And I'll tell you what I mean. If you look at his stuff that he did back in the late 80s, he has an album called Never Look Back. It's just guitar, right? Complete and total guitar madness. And as you listen to him play, you realize that he's really in the virtuoso category. Like, this guy actually plays guitar extremely well, right? Like I listened to, I put the album on and I started listening to song after song, and I was literally thinking to myself, this guy's awesome. How did I never hear of him as a guitar player? And that's something that I find to be, I feel as though he's almost underrated as a guitar player, even though he's not. But by guitar lovers today, he's really not in the conversation as much as other people are, like the Claptons, the Steve Vais, the Joe Satrianis, and what have you, But what I find interesting about this album here, and if you listen, and the songs aren't long. It's not like this 8-minute long, guitar ballad or whatever. Each song is like 2.5, 3.5. I think I saw a song that was in the 4s for length. But what I find to be really amazing is he plays the guitar in a way that he's almost like hitting the note, saying, look, hear this note, here, I want you to hear this riff, listen to this sequence, listen to this note. He's very deliberate, and as the song plays through, you hear that he's actually kind of trying to get the listener to pay attention to certain aspects of the guitar playing, but not necessarily his skills, which, yes, you do want people to appreciate your skills, but, really, he's playing these songs, and it's like he's trying to grab people's attention by the sound of the guitar. Listen to this note and try to draw people in. But that's all good and fine, okay? This is why I'm angry at the universe today. Today I'm angry at the universe because no one is talking about what he's doing now, and we need to be sharp and see what he's up to today. Because for the past 18 years, this guy has been working in television. He's been producing, writing songs with a company called Extreme Music. And all of a sudden, when someone says to me, "Do you like country?" I say, "No, no, no. Not 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 as much as I like dark country." And some people ask me, "Is that a genre? What is that?" And well, yeah, I kind of think it is a genre. It's like what Johnny Cash, I think, encapsulated in the music he did. And for the past, almost 2 decades, Blue Saraceno has been perfecting the sound of dark country. I mean, literally, I almost think he's like now in a world of his own. He is now the personification of dark country. Universe, I am angry at you. And I think that you need to be sharp and see what Blue Saraceno is doing. You know, Uh, it's interesting, and I've done a good amount of research. Some of his stuff is actually hard to find. I have found some interviews with him that are actually pretty nice, where he expresses himself, and he does express himself. He came right out and said that he doesn't really want to work on guitar ballads anymore. You write a guitar song, but then you have to spend months learning how to play it correctly. And if you want to put out a guitar album of just instrumental guitar, there is a crap ton of work because you can't. Some people play guitar and they write a solo, and then when they perform the song live, they know what notes they have to hit and where they have to go. So the solo still kind of sounds like the solo that was recorded on the album. And as long as they can go out there and do that, and that's some of the stuff that Eddie Van Halen would do. He would play a solo. It was never the same every time he played it, but you knew this solo belonged in that song. The audience, the fans were not completely blindsided. Like, what solo was he playing? Did he just pull this out of his butt? You know, and why do I mention that? Because you have to continually play. You have to put those notes in your muscle memory. And then when you play that solo for an audience, you have to perform it in a way that is somewhat reminiscent of the song in the studio. That's what the audience kind of wants to hear. I mean, yes, if they go to a live show of somebody's and there's a whole new version with a whole new guitar solo, it's not the end of the world, right? Uh, it's not horrible, but there's an expectation, and I think that kind of goes without saying. So he said he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to work months on a guitar album, you know, and then release the album and then have people just download the songs for free. Now I can see where he's coming from with the internet today. Yes, there does appear to be somewhat of an underappreciation of the talent and the work that's put behind music, and everyone wants to hear the music for free. And very little people, I would actually say only 1%, really stop and think about the work that's put into a song, even something as simple as a guitar solo. But okay, let me get back on point. Why is Blue Saraceno? Why do we need to be sharp and see what he's been up to? Okay, I'll start. Seeing I'm the only one talking, y'all ain't got no choice. Um, I'm gonna go over a few songs of his, 7 actually. Okay, and what I want you to do as the listener, I actually want you, when you have time, to go to Spotify and just type in his name, Blues Saraceno, and just look at the amount of work he's been doing in the past 2 decades. Just do it. You can go to YouTube as well. The Extreme Music has published a lot of music with him. Some of it has actually gotten pretty popular. I think there's a song called Dogs of War that, I don't remember if it's 30 million views or 13 million views, but whatever, it's millions of views. And it has become somewhat mainstream because it's in TV. He's really writing music and aiming to have these songs played in TV shows and in movies. But okay, let's start with a song called Judgment Day, right? Beautiful song. The song starts, the female vocalist, as soon as she starts singing, it's smooth. It's a really nice female vocals, nice harmonies in this song as well. It's just nice songwriting, period. And you have to remember as you listen to these songs that these songs are from a guitar virtuoso, someone who was in the world of Steve Vai and Joe Satriani, someone who published and produced and released guitar only music, right? Guitar only music. I'm going to release an album with 10 guitar songs on it. No vocals, nothing, right? Now all of a sudden, and he's been doing this for years now, for the past couple decades. He's been putting out these songs, writing this music. He's been putting out a lot of music where he's collaborating with other musicians. He's collaborating with other vocalists and producing, and he's in mixing. He's involved with the production of this music, and it's just breathtaking. And it really makes you wonder, like, what is wrong with? Honestly, when I got into him, I first thought to myself, I get irritated because I hear on like radio stations, other podcasts, people talking about or analyzing rock and roll, and they say rock is dead. It's like, well, yeah, I can see that rock might appear to be dead, but why aren't you promoting this guy here, and other artists who do what he does or something similar to what he does, and they exist, they're out there, but they kind of get thrown into country or blues or whatever the case may be, but this is just good music, right? So Judgment Day, nice harmonies. He doesn't put a lot of guitar in these songs. He does in a more, I guess you could say the guitar he puts is more of an accompaniment. It's more of a rhythm and arpeggiating, but it's very well thought out and well placed. Maybe a little bit in the right ear and a little bit in the left ear. A lot of double tracking, with the guitar, which is nice to hear. And here's something interesting. You ready for this? The percussion for the song Judgment Day, it sounds like someone is working in their basement with heavy machinery. I mean, seriously. You hear the percussion for this song and you're like, it sounds like someone banging on an anvil in their basement, okay? That's the percussion track on this song. It's just really amazing. The song Gravedigger, just a nice song. Sad, scary, dark, confused, angry, all at the same time, right? He has a song called The Wicked. And with this song, everything. The panning of the instruments, the percussion, which is not traditional. Again, it sounds like digging sounds or just banging. And there's guitar arpeggiating, panned to one side, right? And then all of a sudden comes a double-tracked slide guitar solo. It sends shivers up your spine. Very good. And then another song, Evil's on the Run. And this is interesting too. This is a very simple song structure. It just plays with the chords 1, 4, 5, but in different order, right? So there's verses, there's chorus, there's actually even a bridge. It's essentially all just variations of 1, 4, 5. And nothing really too crazy going on here. But there's a delay on the voice. There's something about the way the voice is mixed. And that's why I think that, I don't know, that's why I think these songs need to really get attention. And that's why I think that they're underrated. Blues Saraceno, as a songwriter and a producer and a mixer, in this musical age is underrated. There's delay on the voice. There's guitar kind of like plucking in the background. This song, it really conjures up a lot of emotion. It almost makes you want to have trouble in your life so that you can hear this song and wallow in your misery. It's really hard to explain. How about this song, The Devil Never Sleeps, right? It starts off with double-tracked vocals kind of doing octaves once the vocals come in. You don't really hear the double-tracking vocals until you do. It's just amazing. It's just great mixing. There's a nice build-up. The second verses have, again, a smashing sound for percussion. But the best part of the song is actually at about 1 minute and 45 seconds into the song. There's this very low. It's like almost like octaves. It's like an like a low choral sound for pretty much what could serve as the bridge to the song. It sends shivers down your spine. It's just well done, and it perfectly fits the song. Run on for a long time, and this is why I think that Blue Saraceno has kind of hit the nail right on the head with this style, this dark country. He literally takes a song that was the epitome of dark country decades ago and makes this version of it, but with his current mixing style, his current songwriting style. And he hires a singer who 2 years ago I looked up and I thought I found out who the female vocalist was in this song, and now I don't know who the heck it is, and it drives me nuts. Why does it drive me nuts? Because I'm a songwriter and I like female vocalists, and I would like to use this female vocalist for one of my songs. But he does Run On for a Long Time, which is a Johnny Cash song. And again, shivers up and down the spine, baby. I mean, this is some good stuff, right? It's just, it conjures up so much emotion. And the funny thing about this, the emotion that this song conjures up, it conjures up the same type of emotion that we feel when we binge watch our Netflix series or our Amazon series. Maybe we're binge watching something that is mysterious, whatever the case may be. There are a lot of shows out there right now on Netflix that focus on the mysterious. Some type of investigative show or whatever the case may be, and we feel these emotions, and that's I believe that's one of the reasons why these songs are so easily placed in series today, because we're feeling these emotions, and then the song comes in right at the right time, and it just really perfectly puts that stamp on what we're feeling. So I really think that he's hit a home run working with extreme music. And then there's the song. How about this? Okay, you want funny percussion? Because I swear Blues sat down and said, yeah, I'm going to use drums, but you know what? I think I'm just going to use other things for percussion. Because if you listen to the song The River, percussion is essentially clapping and the sound of chains being shook in the background. That is essentially what the percussion track is for the song of The River. And it's just another marvel of creation from Blues Saraceno, Yes, again, the slide guitar is featured in this song, shivers up the spine. And why isn't this music playing in every household? I don't know. It's a mystery to me. But anyways, this was today's episode. This was today's feature. Blues Saraceno. We need to be sharp and see what Blues Saraceno is doing today. If you don't like crazy guitar ballads and crazy guitar stuff, like guitar-only songs, like the Steve Vai type of music, the Joe Satriani type of music, which I actually do like. If you don't like that, well, that's okay. That's not what Blues Saraceno is doing today. He is writing music that is going unnoticed. It is only really being noticed when people hear it on their TV show and they hit Shazam and they say, oh, Blues Saraceno. And then they go to, YouTube or Spotify and they listen to the song. He's got a ton of music out. And you can tell he is putting a lot of work into the songs and into the sound. Just how is the listener going to be affected by this? It's interesting. I was watching an interview with him a while ago, and I remember him saying, and I'm not going to quote it word for word, but he said something along the lines of, life is just so good. You can do so much. And the funny thing is, this world that we're living in right now is filled with, we're experiencing a global pandemic. There's tons of, political and social unrest, I guess you could say. So, no, we're not living in a world that is actually considered good in that case. But here's the funny thing. I knew exactly what he meant. That life, this world, everything life is good right now. Life is special. When he said life is good, I really think he meant life is special. He's alive. And he's, in my opinion, a musical genius. And he has time. And he has the right people working with him. And he has the right motivation. And he has the right outlet. And the right forum. And he is able to just create some of the most beautiful melodies, some of the most beautiful music, really, chord progressions, and just masterpieces, in my opinion. I mean, I really do think that these songs are masterpieces. And I just look at some of these songs on YouTube and I think, how does this song only have 500,000 views? Now, some have a lot. Like I said, Dogs of War is in the millions. We need to be sharp and see more of what he's doing. So that is my episode of Be Sharp and See. It features Blue Saraceno. I really do believe he's on every streaming service. So if you go to Spotify or whatever you use to listen to your music, you can put in Blue Saraceno. You can get his music. And I can pretty much guarantee, if you like rock and roll, and if you like older rock and wondering to yourself, where is good rock today? Where is the good music today? If you're a fan of that type of music, please look him up. I promise you will not be disappointed. Until next time, this is Artie Astor signing off.